Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Fahrenheit TV. It's a new year and we can't wait to bring you more sizzling talk and entertainment to uplift your soul. Coming to you live at BNN Studios in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay tuned.
Fahrenheit TV.
Fahrenheit TV is a live monthly variety show that showcases people's greatness through narratives and artistic expression. We're back this summer to bring you more live, sizzling talk and entertainment to uplift your soul. Tune into our live episodes here on BNN TV or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Be sure to follow us on social media to keep up with all our latest news. We hope that you'll tune in. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. It's a Thursday, it's raining outside, but despite the gloomy weather, we have so much energy, so much greatness, so much great things to bring you tonight for our first live episode of the year. Happy New Year to all of you guys. I hope that is treating you with kindness, with peace, with love and respect so far. Today, we're going to be talking about, it's the new year, so you have all of this ambition, right, for things you want to do. We have like 12 months to do things that we dream of, things that we want to accomplish. But oftentimes, we could get a little, knocked down on the path because of, life. Things come at us. But I want you to know that even if you get knocked down, even if you stumble during the path this year to achieving your dreams, don't give up. Because this year, we want you to dream bigger. And tonight, we have an incredible guest in the house, two extraordinary guests who are living their lives to the fullest and helping other people do the same with their skills and their passions that they're putting into the community. And I'm so excited to talk to you about what they're doing in the community and hopefully give you some wisdom and some inspiration to live out your dreams because you deserve to. So our first guest is a wonderful, wonderful spirit. I mean, her creative energy, what she's doing in the community, she has nothing but wisdom and great energy. And she also happens to be a professor. She has a few books out, and she's just a beautiful soul. So I would like to introduce to you our first guest of this evening, Dr. Allana Da Graca. Thank you so much for coming on Fahrenheit TV.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, I'm so excited that you're here because just following you on Instagram and all the wisdom and great content you put out, you always are uplifting people and just telling them that you could dream bigger and these are the steps to get there. So before we talk about all the things that you've been doing and things that you're producing for the community and the world internationally, how did you start your journey? Can you take us back to how was Boston because you grew up here in Boston, yes. And you right in Roxbury actually. Yes. So how does it feel to be back here? And can you tell us a little bit about when you were growing up here?
Sure. So first of all, pleasure to be here again. Mm-hmm. It's interesting, when I came up here, I looked across the street and that was my actual bus stop.
Oh my gosh.
So every morning for, years, I would go right across the street here in Eggleston Square. But when I think about, home, I think about the first time I was introduced to the library right here at the Eggleston Square branch. And I remember being 6 and the librarian saying, this is a special place. Well, for me, at 7 years old, I felt like I had hit gold. Yeah. So I got all the Ramona the Pest books, and I just was I thought I had found something so awesome. And that was really the foundation of, the idea of, it doesn't really matter where you're at. What matters is what's in between your ears. And if you're reading, if you're reading and if you are serious about education, then you were going to come out on whatever that other side was going to be.
Yeah.
So for me, growing up in Boston, it was just being here and coming to this area, it just brings back warm memories. But it also brings back kind of that idea of you better work hard. It brings me back to those earlier messages I had from as a little girl.
So that's great that you have great role models and great mentors to just put that in you because this is what you do in life. I mean, and I know before we get into your career, you are very talented yourself. You're you have art in you. You do all these dope things. So can you tell us about how your passions in your personal life led you to the path that you're on, from going to UMass, together, and just how did you get into that?
Well, it's funny, sometimes my students laugh because I might play some hip hop before class begins, and they're like, "You like hip hop?" I'm like, Please, I grew up in Roxbury.
Yeah, you were there with like the prime of hip hop
Yes,
too. So,
exactly.
come on.
And there was just something so beautiful about that idea of identity in art form.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, growing up, that was the way I was able to kind of culture my own identity.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that I could use my voice to
Yes.
be positive. I don't have to totally accept every message I receive.
Mm-hmm.
So my foundational years here in Boston were really pivotal for what I ended up doing.
Yeah.
Essentially.
So exactly, like, can you tell us how did you get into what you're doing? So you went to UMass Amherst.
Yes.
And you did a whole bunch of activities on campus. You
Yes.
worked at the newspaper, like all of these
Yeah.
certain things. So how did it lead you to like where you at? If you could give us, take us back in time.
Yeah, well, honestly, I have to go a little further behind because growing up in Boston, I was part of a troupe called Boston City Lights. And that was like where we learned the discipline of dance and communication, and we traveled abroad. So when I got to UMass, I wanted to kind of expand that. But my true, I guess my pivotal moment was really, again, here we are at the library, going to the library, going to the 11th floor at UMass Amherst,
Yeah.
and reading stories about kings and queens that looked exactly like me. Prior
So
to that,
important.
this is important because I had poor self-perception. So I didn't really, even though I had talents, I didn't really see the beauty that I had just from within. But once I started reading about, oh, wait a minute, there were queens and kings that looked like me?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute, now I have to do more. And it kind of led me to writing at the collegiate. It kind of led me to have a real innovative spirit. And so that's kind of what formed the foundation for the other things I would eventually end up doing.
And that's so dope because it was like coming of age, finding your identity, seeing the greatness within yourself, your ancestors, all of that.
Yes.
And a lot of that time, those things are not really taught in school. So it's dope that you were like, let me go find out for myself and stuff.
Yeah.
So then you ended up working at BET and and then you started teaching as well. So how
Yes.
did you get into that kind of path?
Yeah, I mean, so I left UMass and I took a little bus down. Actually, one of my friends drove me down to DC to be at BET, and that was immediately awesome. But I felt like there was something more I was supposed to be doing with my gift of speaking. And I also had this love of just teaching people because I felt like, how could I offer back to society what I felt was given to me? So at 23, I started teaching as a professor at Lesley.
That's so young.
Yeah, I was
23.
23. Yes.
Wow.
And
That was like last year.
That
She
was-
looks so young. Are you kidding?
last year, I just turned 25.
Yeah.
So I started teaching grad students at that point. And really what happened is right around that time, I decided to leave Boston and move to Atlanta.
Wow.
And
Very different.
Very different place. And we think of all the people of color, students of color there. But one thing that stood firm with me in terms of my remembrance is that I would do these things called hot topics, where I would give the students an opportunity to talk about anything they wanted to in their own voice that didn't relate to the curriculum. Well, what ended up happening was the students started coming to class 20 minutes early.
Yeah, wow.
And I was like,
so they were really into it.
They
then.
were
They're
really
like,
into it.
They're ready.
Right,
Yeah.
they're ready. And I said, why are you guys here? Your classes? And they said, well, we want to talk about
This
the
and
hot topics.
Yeah.
So what we found was that they wanted to talk about these hot topics because they were living in a real world. And they wanted to apply not only the communication skills they were learning in the classroom, but they also wanted to make meaning of what they were experiencing. That's really what kind of brought me to this idea of, okay, really, where am I going and what do I think my purpose or contribution is?
Yeah, so then did that kind of lead you into becoming an entrepreneur and working for yourself?
Yeah, so eventually what ends up happening is I'm loving Atlanta, I'm loving, the city. Everybody feels like they're your cousin.
Yeah. It is good vibes there.
Good vibes. But eventually my husband and I decide to, pack up all our things and move to Europe. He has some family there.
Wow, that's even more different.
Right,
Yeah.
but this is like a big risk.
Yeah,
right?
you're like,
so
Europe.
everyone's like, what are you doing? Because on paper, everything looks
Looks
perfect.
Yeah.
Well, my second pivotal moment was living abroad, and it's different when you live someplace where no one speaks your language.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, so there I am. I wake up one day and I say, I had this luggage. This is really important. So for all the years I was teaching, I would write all these journals, and I would take one journal and put it in my luggage. What ended up happening was that I had 13 years worth of journals in a luggage.
Wow.
that was eventually supposed to become a book.
Yeah.
But it never did. So one day while we're traveling, I look at my husband and I say, I don't care what happens to any of my things, I just care about the luggage.
Yeah.
And he says, well, what's the point? Nobody's gonna be able to read them if you don't ever do anything with it. So I realized then, oh my goodness, I've been sitting on all of my gifts for 12, 13 years.
Yeah, and it's just been like,
And it's just
building.
been sitting there. So I said to myself after being homesick, because I was missing everything. I was like, everything you could think about, I was missing pancakes, just missing everything. But then I said, oh my gosh, when I go back home and I land, first of all, when I land and they say, hello, welcome, I'm going to be so happy. But number two, I really want to be able to lead a life of excellence, what I consider excellence. And so I came back and I ended up writing 3 books. And then I started turning on the lights Global Institute. Yes.
Wow. Well, we're going to go to a short break and find out what are in these 3 books that she's talking about, because I need to know 13 years and all this stuff. So stay tuned with us. We have a lot more to learn from Dr. Allana. We're coming back to you after these short PSAs.
You've messed up your son's haircut. Do you try to fix it? Work with what you've got? Or show solidarity?
Thank you, babe. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Fahrenheit TV.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning back in with Fahrenheit TV. We're here with Dr. Allana Da Graca, and we're learning more about her life and what led her to becoming an entrepreneur, a professor. And right before the break, we were talking about her amazing books. One of them, I remember you mentioned it in a TED Talk that she did. Make sure that you watch her TED Talks, guys. You did a TED Talk, and it was called Tomorrow Can't Wait, one of your books. And I really wanted to get into that because one of the themes there is self-doubt and how to manage that. And for myself, I know I have a really hard time with self-doubt. And throughout the year, I'm thinking of people making their resolutions. Self-doubt is going to come along the path some way. So can you talk about why was it important for you to write that book and how you deal with self-doubt and some of the advice you have for our audience?
Yeah, well, what ends up happening is, between all of the story of moving and everything going on, I recognized that, I asked myself, Allana, if you only had 120 days of life, just whatever, for whatever reason, would you have resentment? And I was like, oh my gosh, I really would resent the fact that I have this luggage with all my journals. And Les Brown always says the richest place on the planet is in the grave where people hide their talents. And so I had to own that and say, even though I'm teaching all of this, how is that really exemplified in my own life?
Yeah, what are you holding back from yourself, from your own greatness?
What am I holding back? So there I am in my living room, walking around, and I said, that's it. Tomorrow can't wait.
Yes.
I need to do something. So I open up my drawer. I just open up that luggage and pull out the first journal I can find, drive to Starbucks, and start writing the first part of that book. And that book has completely changed my life.
Yeah.
Because when I came back home, it was like I wanted to tell everybody, your age doesn't matter, so your age doesn't matter, whether you feel too old or too young. When you really have something brewing in your heart, go after it.
Yeah, and the universe will give you signs.
And the universe will give you signs.
It will just keep pushing you just to see, like, hey, are you gonna pay attention?
Yes.
Do I have to have this happen to you? So you move in, from everything that you know. Like, did you think that was like your moment to be like, hey, we're testing you, Allana, to see if you're gonna go after
I
what
really
you want?
I had a couple of pivotal moments. I had this one dream one time when I was trying to wake up. In the dream, I was trying to wake up, but I couldn't. And it was like I couldn't speak. And I remember when I woke up and I was like,
that can't happen to you. We need you to speak.
Right.
Yeah, that's your talent, one of your gifts.
That's one of your gifts. So to fast forward, Tomorrow Can't Wait just led me to really forming my company. And today when I look and see that someone is sitting there in India or sitting there in London waiting at 2 a.m. to hear some of my stories, it's just mind-boggling to me because I know what it was like to sit in that kind of self-doubt where you keep telling yourself, when everything comes together, then I'll get
do this.
started.
Yeah, it's always like, but this has to before I can,
Right.
and that's what, it makes sense. Tomorrow can't wait, because tomorrow's not promised. So it's like you have to get on it.
Exactly. And, and for me, one of the things I love in my company now is to look into the eyes of any individual and say, you still have it. Yes, 10 years may have gone by, but tomorrow is new. The sun rises every day. It rains on us all, but the sun still rises. So that's kind of the impetus I have when I'm speaking to my clients. And it's mind-boggling to see women writing their first books at 40 and 50, to see people creating bracelets, or to see a woman who can sing and never sang, but now she's creating a YouTube video singing in her living room.
Oh, I love it.
It's beautiful.
But that's great, because you're allowing people to see not only the greatness in themselves, but to express it, fully, shamelessly, and just live in it because you deserve to.
Right.
And I think that's so dope. And also, like, so you've been doing this, your business for how many years now?
So I've been doing this now for 4 years. And really, there's two streams. There's the personal development side and the professional development side.
Okay.
And so on the personal development, it's kind of, I say hi to my tribe.
Yes.
We have a hashtag that we use that says #UPML, which stands for I will upgrade my life.
Yes, level up.
Now, one of the things I always ask women, particularly, is I say, sit in your chair like you are 5-star. Immediately, they start to preposition themselves. And I say, that's interesting, because if someone walked up to you, you would know how to talk to them. You would say, oh, and I would like my water this way, and then I say, but why don't we treat ourselves 5-star? Because you do have something really unique inside of you. No one has the same fingerprints. We all have unique fingerprints, which means we all have something new to offer the world. And so with that, I really am vivacious and strong with it, because I want to see more people, doesn't matter what your zip code is. I want to see more individuals really surprising themselves.
And I'm so happy you're saying this, because this is what our audience needs to hear for the new year. It's January, it's about to be the end of the month, and I know some of us are like, I don't know if I wrote my goals, I don't know if I have goals. So like hearing that from someone like you, who's a motivational speaker, and just doing this as, not only as a job, but because it's your purpose in life, I think that's incredible. So can you tell us a little bit more about like the Women Build Confidence and coaching and how that works?
Yeah, so I have the Women Build Confidence coaching group. Initially, we started with 7 women, and that just completely grew. And we have followers from all over the world.
Oh, yeah.
And really what it is this idea that as women, we can finally form a tribe, not where we're competing with each other, but where we say, hey, I support you. You can actually be applauded.
Yes.
A lot of times, womenpreneurs, per se, feel like they're imposters in their own world. Not just women, but people. It's kind of like they think, well, my background doesn't show me that I can be this person, or I was never told this, or this traumatic thing happened. And I always say, what would life be like if you wiped the slate clean and completely said, I really am 5-star, I'm really gonna upgrade. So I would just say for any woman watching, if you're interested in being a part of the Women Build Confidence community, you can find us on Facebook, you can go to my website, and really it's about an area of support. And so we have leaders at every level, we have executives, and then we have women in transition.
That's dope.
So that's what Women Build Confidence is all about.
And how do we get involved? I know you're going to have some events coming up soon. How do we get involved with all the things you're doing? Because we want to support you. We need someone with all the wisdom and encouragement like you with us always.
Well, I would suggest that everyone go to drallanadagraca.com. We have a live events section on the page. For example, on January 31st, I'll have another talk called Upgrade My Life at WeWork in St. James. And then we have the International Women Build Confidence Conference online in March. Now, I want to invite everyone tuning in, your show, a complimentary ticket to that conference.
What? A complimentary
ticket?
Did you guys hear that? A complimentary ticket, guys. This is huge. Happy New Year to you. Yes, thank you.
So this is the opportunity where you can hear VIP notes from leaders that are authors and speakers and entrepreneurs, and some fabulous people that I can't name right now will be there. But I want to invite those of you who tune into Farrah's show to be a part of that.
That's
so
incredible.
all they need to do is send us an email and put Farrah
Just put my name.
Just put Farrah, and
Yeah.
we would love to give them a complimentary ticket to that.
That already sounds like it's gonna be epic. Not only because you're gonna be there, so I'm like, oh, then I know it's gonna be like, you know, amazing. But also because it's Women's History Month, so just imagine all of that energy in there.
Yes,
Oh,
and
man.
I also want to say, if you're a new business and you are trying to, you know, you're bootstrapping it, you don't have to do it by yourself. Just send us an email and maybe we can help you also as well.
That's awesome. Well, guys, I hope that you got all of that wisdom and that knowledge that Dr. Allana just gave us. I hope to see you at the conference in March. We can't wait for that. We're going to take a short break, and then after that, we're going to be talking a little bit, give you some tips of how to really live it up and dream bigger this year, right after these few PSAs.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So,
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Fahrenheit TV.
Everyone, I hope that you're feeling inspired and motivated by Dr. Allana Da Graca, who has been sharing with us her story of what made her become a wonderful life coach, entrepreneur, professor. She has so many titles that's like so hard to keep up with, but really what she does is bring joy and love and, you know, just a mass amount of motivation to the community. I'm like so excited that I can't really talk. But right now, I really wanted to like give you guys some tips about this year of how to really like live out your dreams. So we're gonna create a vision board together with Dr. Allana, and I'm really excited about it. This is our vision board for Fahrenheit TV. So basically, you know, this is just, I didn't write anything on it because I was like, I need the professional here with me. But basically, I just wanted to make a vision board for Fahrenheit TV. As you guys know, Fahrenheit TV, our purpose is really to like put the spotlight on community heroes who are just living their best lives and putting so many great things into the community, like you, which I consider a community hero and leader. And I really want to continue to do that for the year. I have all these random like pictures and stuff, but I wanted you to kind of just take over and give us a few tips of like, how can we like dream bigger this year for ourselves and what we do if we get stuck along the path.
So let's just talk about this. When you create a vision board, you really want to think about your present, and then you want to think about your, you know, where you would like to go in the future. So with that said, typically a great guided vision board starts off with one half, and this is kind of like where you are at. So if you said right now at Fahrenheit, I'm passionate, you could put passion.
Nice, nice, nice.
Yeah, you can put golden because you're trying to
Yes.
give people that motivation.
Yes,
And
yes.
maybe one other thing about how you feel right now about
Right now,
Fahrenheit.
I feel like I just want to rise and shine and allow other people to do the same. you
Okay,
know? Yeah.
so what's the vision that you have maybe in the future? Could you put that on the other side?
It'd be like really cool in the future if we could like, you know, get bigger in terms of like getting, you know, more of our audience to like, you know, follow and support us, but also to like support their fellow community heroes. If there's someone that you want to be on the show that you're like, this person needs to like share their story, I would love to do that.
Well, I want to challenge Farrah by using our hashtag.
Okay.
So we'll say hashtag UPML.
Okay.
Hopefully when people come and tune into your show or when you have special guests, they are completely empowered and they feel like, oh my goodness, based upon what I saw on her show, I do feel like I can upgrade my life.
Yes.
And so
Upgrade
I
my
love
life.
that.
I love that. Upgrade my life.
And I'm also going to sign off on it for you.
Yes. Yes. Dr. Allana approved. Awesome.
Yes. So the other piece to this too that I will put here for you is you always want to have measurable goals. So you always want to have maybe, you know, you have your months here for, I'm just making this up, and then you have your actions. So, you know,
nice.
if you said, you know, let's say we're in January and your goal was to say, hey, I want people to say, I want to upgrade my life, or I want people to know that they can do more, then maybe what's one action you could have?
One, I could tell people to make sure they subscribe on our social media channels.
Good. So you can build your subscription.
Yep.
Yes. Great. So again, what you would eventually do is you would pick one action for every single month.
Oh,
and
that's really
start off
good.
with that. Because most people create vision boards, but they're not really guided well.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you have your words, your images, but then what is the month and the action?
And I think that's so like practical too, because a lot of times like I could get stuck, or I might be like, what did I say I was gonna do in April again? And it's like, totally forget. But if you have something to hold you accountable, and like this really helps. Not only that, but like, how about if, like, for example, in April, I didn't get to do, like, an action? What could I do then? Can I move that to another month, or can I start over?
Well, that's a great question. It's kind of like when people feel like they have fallen off, they say, oh, well, forget it. My vision board didn't happen.
Yeah.
I say just wipe the slate clean. It's one of my comments. Most of my tribe knows it. Wipe your slate. So you go, oh, I didn't make that action. All right, I'm going to put it in the next month.
Okay.
And that's how you just measure it. And don't try to do too many things.
Yeah.
If you say, okay, I'm going to get more subscription, then maybe for the 3 months, it's just all around the subscription.
Oh,
it's
that
not
makes sense.
subscription and then something else. It's just all around that.
Attainable goals,
Yes,
things that like
attainable.
you can do it. Okay.
Yes, I like to call them milestones.
Nice, nice,
Yes.
nice. Awesome, awesome. So what do you do like? So how about, is there like a time, and should we do like, I guess my question, like mid-year, so like in June, should I check my vision board to see how I'm doing, kind of be like, oh.
Well, I have a juicy secret.
Okay.
So every year, including in the vision board, aside from looking at the goals, I do a friendship analysis. That can be near your vision board too, because we don't realize that a lot of how we reach our goals or we don't has a lot to do with who we're around.
Yes,
And
your tribe.
This is very important to remember. So sometimes you can analyze, if you look at 5 friends, which ones are helping me to reach my goal and which ones are detracting. Indifference is not necessarily your best friend.
Yeah, yeah.
So someone who's not necessarily for you or against you can be someone that is not going to be the one rooting for you to completely get to that goal.
Wow, so
So
that
you
makes
really
a lot
wanna-
of sense. Yeah,
Yes.
you got to really watch the company you keep everyone.
Yes.
Yes, it's really
So I would
important.
say start with the friendship analysis first, then get your images, do the before,
Okay.
and then focus on where you would like to be. And usually I would have a large vision board. This is great to start as a template.
Yeah.
And then with time, as the year goes on, you can end up having a huge vision board.
Okay.
And research has shown that when you create a solid vision, that you're 10 times more likely to send a subconscious message to your mind to actually see this thing happen.
And that's so true, because like I always do like well, not a vision board, but just like a goal list for every year. And like in December, it's always nice to look at it and be like, oh my God, I wrote this like last year. I couldn't believe I did this. So it makes you
Right.
feel good, like, because you just like, it just was in your mind, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's really awesome. Yeah. Well,
Great.
we're not done with this vision board just yet, but we're running out of time. I'm just gonna like put random things on
Good.
here.
What was that?
So basically, this is like, just black girl magic in my mind, because I just love seeing that. I
Awesome.
really love seeing people who are just like expressing themselves and just putting their greatness out in the world. So
One
I
of
want
the
to do
things
more of that.
I like to ask everyone to do is to find a picture of an iceberg. Keep in mind that when you see an iceberg, you only see the tip of a huge conglomerate of ice.
Yeah.
Remember that where you are right now is not your whole destination. There's a whole lot more of you.
Yes.
So when you see that iceberg, remember that you're just at the tip of who you can become.
That's awesome. Wow. I hope that you guys are all listening to this, because I just want to go home right now and just write all my whole entire vision board and just submit it to Dr. Lon. Like, am I going to be successful? And I already feel like I'm going to be, just because you're here on the
Thank
stage.
you.
Can you tell us again, how do we connect with you
Yes.
and just support you again?
Yes. So everyone, please remember, you can reach me at drallanadagraca.com. If you like the Women Build Confidence concept, please send me an email. If you're a small business owner, don't do it alone. Inquire about my services. I'd love to help you.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, like a million times, for taking the time to come on our stage, to share your wisdom, and just to like give us all of this great advice. And I can't wait to see you in March. I hope you guys will be coming
you.
with us. And just thank you for everything that you're doing for our community, for coming back and still doing it for our community, because a lot of
thank
people
you.
don't come back. So we really appreciate you a
And
lot.
thank you for the platform. I wish
of
you the best
course.
of luck in 2019.
Thank you. Thank you too. I
Thank
hope
you.
that 2019 is a golden year for you, Queen.
Thank you so much.
Fahrenheit TV.